Welcome to the astrology report for the week of January 1st to the 8th, and it is a good week, guys. Finally, we got some good news in the sky. Jupiter and Mercury are going direct this week, and we're going to enter the week with a sense of forward momentum. Also, a bit of relief because it's been a really intense 2 months behind us, as we can all attest to. We have a bit of hardship in the beginning of the week, however, and that's going to be felt mostly January 1st to the 3rd, and it's the last part of that square from Venus to Saturn. And this energy, Venus squaring Saturn from Sagittarius, is hard love. Love is difficult. Money feels burdensome. Things to do with having to grit and grind and endure. Even social events and being social with others can feel somehow difficult, constrained, or boundaried. It can also lead some people to feel a bit lonely. So January 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, it starts to wear off by the time we get to the 3rd, which is Wednesday. Things will lighten up. Now, I covered a bit about this Venus square Saturn in my Venus and Sagittarius video that came out a few days ago. And if you haven't seen that video yet, please go watch it because it will give you a little insight into how to deal with this energy for the beginning of this week. So I won't repeat that. I've already done that content. And if you're new to my channel, welcome, by the way. My name is Lori Ann Lothian, and I am using the Western Tropical Zodiac, whole sign houses, and fixed stars and minor asteroids are some of my favorite bits of information that I give you to help you time your best life, using astrology as a navigational tool. And if you like this kind of stuff, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications because I put up to 25 videos or more out every single month. The only thing I'm promoting before we get going is that I have my 2024 All Signs videos on sale for $59. That's 90 minutes times 12. This never goes public. You can buy the bundle to listen for your sun, moon, rising, and share with friends and family. And that is on sale till the end of January at $59 instead of $77. Happy New Year. And one more thing I want to mention, if you're catching this video in the morning of Monday, sometime later in the afternoon, I'm going to be putting out a 2024 big predictions video with Dan Waits of the Astrology Report channel on YouTube. And I'm hoping that you get a chance to check that, the World Astrology Report channel. And I'm hoping you get a chance to check that video out too, because it's a really nice deep dive into the world events based on big synodic cycles. And he is an amazing astrologer. All right, so let's get rolling and let's get talking. So first of all, Jupiter and Mercury. So Jupiter has been retrograde for 4 months in September. And this retrogradation may have felt to most of us like, where's all the goodness? Where's all the juice? Where's all the happiness that Jupiter is supposed to bring me in my Taurus part of my sky, where he's been since last May? There's some complications here. I mean, basically, Jupiter in Taurus is going to bring us good things in the Taurus region of our sky. There's no doubt about it. But late May and early June last year, he was bumping into Rahu, or what we also call the North Node of Fate. And well, in some traditions, that can mean his goodness is enhanced. And to some degree, I felt it was. It also can mean he's in a Guru Chandral yoga. I hope I said that right. But it means that he's in a difficult place that's associated with hardship for him when he's with the sort of demon element of the North Node. And it can mitigate some of his goodness. Now, you have to go back and say, did it seem as good as it could have been? Because most of us would say, no, it did not seem as good as it could have been. And therefore go back and compare. So he was compromised. And then when he finally got far enough away from the North Node in July, around the 3rd week of July, the North Node moved into a different sign, which was Aries. And he got, a good 10, 12 degrees away from that North Node in the sign of Taurus. Everything should have been wonderful, right? But then he moved retrograde early September. So he may have had 1 month, the month of August, where he wasn't so compromised. So good news is Jupiter for the world is moving direct. He's moving direct without being close to that North Node compromising condition. He is going to approach Uranus in April. That's a big deal. And we'll be talking about that I already have a video out, the transit of 2024, biggest transit, because it's so rare, not seen since 1941. That is pinned to my channel right now when you open up my channel, or it's in my 2024 big playlist. But he's there in good stead by himself, wandering through the sky. What could we see? Jupiter can rule things to do with goodness, with sometimes kings, with wisdom, with knowledge and peace. And so maybe as he goes direct, maybe we'll see some movement in the world towards peace in this week ahead. Hopefully, but don't forget he goes forward and direct now pretty quickly between this week, December 30th to the third week of May. So this is a new energy for all of us. And I think it's Jupiter finishing strong for each of us. The other thing I want to talk about is Mercury moving direct after 3 weeks of retrogradation. Now, just in general, Mercury moving direct means some of those things, that even if he's in the post shadow, it means some of the things that we've been doing when he was retrograde are now going to be able to move forward in a more of an unhindered way. And he's moving direct on the January the 2nd. And he's moving direct in Sagittarius at 22 degrees. Now, interestingly enough, there are a couple of difficult stars there, Shala and Lesath. Shala and Lesath are the two stars on the stinger of the tail of the scorpion. Yes, the constellation of Scorpio. And because Mars was already there with Mercury and we felt some stingingness, I had that in my newsletter last week for my subscribers. A lot of people had moments of being stung in conversation or feeling poisoned or, difficult circumstances, poisoned by a friendship, stinging connections with others. And my partner, James, and I had a disagreement because I found his words to be stinging during that combination of Mars and Mercury together last week. But here we have, it's just Mercury really on those two stars. So stinging news, difficult news that's like got a sharp edge to it coming out in our news cycle when around January 2nd. Now, also because the star is, for example, where Putin has his Mars, it could involve stories about Russia or Vladimir Putin on January 2nd. Also, there's a possibility here with Mercury going direct in this part of our sky that we may see something going on with big themes to do with travel, because Sagittarius can rule air travel and world travel themes. Mars has been here. Now Mercury's got that star spots, Lesath and Shala, those two sort of stinging, ouchy stars of poison and the stinger. I don't wish that for anybody, that something bad happens to do with air travel in particular. That's connected to, very much to Sagittarius, but news stories about air disasters can be a big part of what may be occurring January 2nd, give or take a day or 2 or 3 on either side. Finally, the last thing I want to say about Mercury going direct at 22 degrees of Sagittarius is the Sabian symbol is a very interesting Sabian. I'm going to pull it up. Hopefully I didn't close that file. No, I didn't. And I just want to say, I mean, I'm just intrigued. I'll leave you guys to Blaine Beauvais from what he says about this symbol is this. It's immigrants entering. Could you round up? So it's Sagittarius 23, and it's immigrants entering. Now, we know we've got a lot of problems right now in the world with refugees and a lot of countries not wanting to take in new immigrants and new immigration policy in the United States on the border, and people wanting to, build, what is it? The wall, build the wall, Donald Trump stuff. But also we do have a very large displaced population right now in the Middle East. 7 million people of 2.5 have been moved out of their homes in the Middle East right now, without saying where, because we don't know where your head's in the sand. And where are they going to go? And so immigrants entering is an interesting Sabian symbol, but it's on that stinging star, Shala and Lesath. It may be connected to that Mars still being in Sagittarius at 28 degrees as Mercury goes direct. And I would say there's going to be more news stories about where those people are supposed to go, according to the people who would like to move them out of their own land. But I don't think other countries will agree. So there's going to be a difficulty around whether or not that would work or not. So the next thing I want to mention here is that you have the idea of the Sabian symbol. I'm going to go a little deeper according to Blaine Beauvais and what he says. And so just bear with me. He says, the thing about immigration is that regardless of how rich or poor the immigrants are, they bring much of their homeland with them: food, cooking styles, family ways, cultural flavors, and heritage. No matter how drastic the change, nor under what circumstances precipitate leaving the homeland, immigrants will preserve something of their homeland. The new world is entered with a sense of trepidation, sea legs shaking from strange and long voyages. It may take some time before one finds one's legs or feels steady and secure stepping on land. So in our own lives, when Mercury goes direct now, maybe we're going to come into a question mark and an answer about where we can feel, where we felt trepidation. We're on some new land. We're stepping into a new archetypal homeland in our Sagittarius real estate. So it's real estate. So as I go through the all signs, I'll kind of make it a little bit like, where is this a new fresh territory for you? You're maybe a little bit nervous about it, but Mercury going direct wants to kick it off with a little passion and ardor, because don't forget Mars and Sag is only 6 degrees away. And that's how we'll do the all signs today. I'm going to show you the picture of the sky right now so you can see it. So let's go over there, and we'll be not here very long. This video should not be longer than an hour in total. So let me get the old back end up for you guys. Give me a sec. And if you're new to my channel, yes, like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And to all my regulars and some of my newbies coming in now, I appreciate all of you who come on to all my premieres and listen in with me and chat about the content as it's airing every single video that I put out. Alrighty, so now I've completely lost everything. Well, I can't see anything. I got too many things going on in the back of my screen. So Crystalline Alchemist and Herbal Empress and, Jupiter 8, thank you, and Linda Calder and Stephen the Jupiterian and Serge LaBelle and Misbehaving, Boiling Frogs, and Our Soul Songs. And there was a new one, a couple of times a newbie came in. I really like the name of their channel. I can't remember it now, but thanks for being a part of this crew of people around the world who love to discuss astrology in the live chat with me for every single video I post. So if you like this kind of stuff where I'm not only giving you broadcast content, but I'm also with you live to talk about it in the chat box for the premieres, then you definitely want to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. And now I do move around a lot, you might notice, because first of all, I'm traveling on a makeshift desk and stuff, but I just like to move. I'm not really good with 3 planets in Aries at just sitting still and doing this. Okay, I'm a trained broadcast journalist. Yeah, that's why I went into print media. So if you don't like me moving, you know what you can do? You can just listen to me and you don't have to look. All right. There's a tip. All right, so now we're going to be moving into the picture of the sky, how this works for your sign. I'm going to focus this week mostly on the Mercury direct. I do have a Jupiter direct video that's already out, and you can listen in depth for Jupiter going direct for your sign. I have a Venus in Sagittarius video because she's now moved into Sagittarius, and you can listen for your sign. And also I have the Venus video, of course, is great for understanding that gnarly square to Saturn between January 1st. Actually, it started 2 days before New Year's Eve. So some of you might have had a hellacious New Year's Eve by the time you listen to this. Sorry about that. But like kind of December 29th to January 3rd, that Venus square Saturn, love is hard, money is hard, socializing is hard, I'm lonely and it feels hard. These stories may have been really prominent for many of us. And so it mostly will be over by this Wednesday. Okay, let's get the all signs groove going. All right, let's get going. By the way, I had someone on my channel say I'm slurring my words. Like I'm telling you guys, unless I'm recording like after dinner and I've had wine, I am not slurring my words. But if I talk a little too fast for you for some reason, you can change the playback speed on YouTube for free. There's a little gear icon and you can just change it and you don't have to actually worry about my speed, but I'm certainly not slurring my words. All righty. Yeah, let's start with Aries. So Aries, sun, moon, and rising. Here we have, just reminding you, Jupiter is direct in your money house. You're going to be making a ton of money and doing well with your prosperity for Aries, sun, moon, and rising over the next few months until the end of May. Then we add on top of that the goodness of Mercury moving direct, and that's going to happen up here at 22 degrees of Sagittarius. This is a part of your sky that has to do, and I want you to remind you, he went retrograde in your 10th house of career on December 13th. At 8 degrees of Capricorn. So this is an interesting direct motion moment for you, because where are you entering into some new territory, like an immigrant in a new homeland that may connect as well to your career, because this is both a career and reputation narrative as well as something that may have to do with ninth house matters. And technically, you may be asking yourself this week, how am I to jump or leap or move forward in a way that is like feeling like I'm an immigrant in a new territory in my career as it applies to foreign shores, foreign lands, book publishing, and things to do with deep meaning, the dharma, the meaning of your life, aligning with something in your career that's deeply usefully truly the best use of your talents and gifts that put you in alignment of being of greater service to the greater good, and it feels really meaningful and true for you. So I'm going to say you may step into this new territory energetically as this week, as Mercury goes direct, and until December 13th is rushing through the sign of Sagittarius crossing over into Capricorn, right? I'll double check the time on that. Let's just make sure we know when he crosses over to Capricorn again. I should just have done that before, but I think I said it earlier. Do try traveling, January 14th. So this retrograde cycle is taking you back to that time where you're really looking at, what started turning around December 13th as Mercury began his retrograde. And now he's going direct around the same time, a month later, through Sag into Capricorn. So you're going to look at this as a kind of a wind-up toy where you're now springing forward with deeper meaning, deeper purpose, but also maybe things to do with your career, attending to publications, book publishing, maybe things to do with guiding or advising or being an assistant to somebody. You see, the ninth house has to do with the hand of the king and the one who helps the one in power. So maybe you're going to be moving into some kind of new livelihood or accepting a new position, especially with Jupiter in the second house, where you're going to find a new opportunity to work as a administrator, a guide, an assistant, a right hand to somebody else. Also, this can also look like getting a new idea finally off the ground regarding something you wish to publish and bringing it into this world as a book. Some of you may be working on that level as well. And, just having Venus up there, please listen to the All Signs video for that. Things are going to be very good for you anyway, but it's really started this week, and it will be true for the next 3 weeks, where things to do with travel, foreign shores, foreign lands, and really enjoying those things will be important. You'll enjoy foreign land travel. I'm an Aries sun and moon. I'll be off to Belize during this window of Venus in my ninth house. You can't time it any better. It's like the universe said, yeah, this is a perfect time. Mercury direct, Venus up there. Let's go to Belize. I've never been there, so I'm looking forward to it. It was gifted to me by a friend, which was amazing. So I'm looking forward to hearing how your week goes, Aries. Keep me posted. Don't forget, if you're new, like, subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications. Oops, I'm going by days. Meant to move us by hours into the Taurus people. Taurus, sun, moon, and rising sign. In your sky, you're experiencing the movement of Mercury direct as well as Jupiter this week ahead, making it quite a blessed week. And by the way, I should have said in the beginning, there are no major aspects this week. That's why we're focused on this stuff. It's a really empty sky. But anyway, let's go ahead for you Taurians and talk about this story. I know Jupiter moving direct in the house of you this week. You're just going to feel more like happy, bounteous, gracious, gratitude, attitude, feeling overwhelmingly positive, feeling lucky and being lucky, and having people wish to follow you. And, you're just kind of like the queen and king of your own mountain right now. And this is going to feel more true than you have felt before. I explained why in the beginning. And then on top of that, you have Mercury moving into direct motion. Remember, starting retrograde in your ninth house and backing into your eighth house. And now going forward, what could this mean for the retrograde that started December 13th? Now he's turning around here, January 2nd, actually. And going to give you some momentum and chunky money. Now, it can be about commerce, right? Are you trying to sell something like a house? Because he trines the fourth house. You may get an offer. You may get a property sale. You may get a chance to buy a place, or the mortgage finally comes through, or the lender finally comes through. Good for money stuff is basically the point. Chunky money in particular, someone could sort of support you with a bit of money during this time, particularly maybe a female who's quite beneficial to you. But I mean, honestly, a woman with Mercury up here could look, and Mars can look like a real estate agent with an offer. But whatever's going on, you're getting some good money narratives going on as Mercury heads direct and pushes that money energy into your ninth house of foreign travel, foreign shores, and foreign lands, but also just that ninth house of the deeper spiritual meaning of your life. So some of you may look at this as an opportunity financially. It starts to move forward this week that eventually looks like, after you pass the 13th or 14th of January, some real new momentum and action in terms of maybe going on a trip, planning a trip, getting involved in a spiritual community that gives you fulfillment, connecting with people from foreign countries that benefit you in some way, or getting legal things to work out with judges and courts in your favor, especially financially, financial legal matters working out in your favor from this Mercury direct. And with Venus here, go listen to my All Signs Venus video, please. This is good for bed pleasures if you want to go to deeper in sexual intimacy than you normally do and really involve yourself with kind of a sex magic tantra, deeper connection romantically to somebody, but it's also just going to maybe be some good stock investments paying off, or some good opportunities financially for speculative or investment type monies. All right. Now I'm just going to stop the share for a second because I need to do something in my little table area here, and I'll be right back for the next sign. Okay, we're moving into the sign of Gemini. Let's roll. All right. And hit that like button and subscribe if you're watching this in the live premiere on Monday. And reminding you that I got another video coming up later today. I hope everyone's not too hungover. Well, the world predictions with Dan Waits of the World Astrology Report. Amazing, amazing conversation with him. All right. So here we have January the 2nd. We're back to business. We did you Tauruses. Let's get going to good old. Yeah, if I keep moving by day right now, I'm going to get really mad at myself. Yeah, we move into, yay, Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Well, hey, look what's going on here. Jupiter direct in your 12th house. This is going to open up great opportunities for getting rid of bad habits, going on a dry Jan, clearing yourself of, self-undoing and self-sabotaging stuff. And you may have been trying to do that, by the way, since last May. But remember I told you we had the Guru Chandal Yoga difficulties and then the retrograde Jupiter. But now he's in direct motion. So yay you. But also in this part of the sky, he can give you greater income from foreign revenue in foreign places. And you begin to feel that momentum building as we move forward in the first week of January, especially if you use payment processors, Stripe, etc. You may also find with Jupiter here, you could be getting opportunities to travel to far off and foreign places that are very easy to do, and things are flowing in that regard. As you can see, though, we also have Mercury going direct in your house of significant relationships, both business, like clients, marketplace, business partners, but also the significant main squeeze. Now, I love that Venus has entered into Sagittarius as well, and that she's going to bring a little extra juice for all of us. If you wanted to see this, I'm going to show you something here. Watch her bouncing in right here, like there she goes, and boom, she steps across that border around, December 30th. And what it really does I like about that is she's hitching up with Mercury. So this is going to bring more love, more joy, more fun. These two are fun together with your significant other. And your significant other may be the progenitor or the creator of the sociability and the fun. It also gives you a chance to really succeed, Gemini, in reaching out to your audience or your marketplace. If you do anything online, you have a channel, you have to sell something, promote something. This is kind of the Mad Men energy when these two are together, especially in the 7th house, Venus and Mercury. So it's really good for promotions, publicizing, selling, that kind of stuff. With Mercury going direct, I want to remind you that it was back around December 13th that he retrograded out of your house of chunky money. That can be passive income, ad revenue, royalty money, investment money, money shared with your partner, significant money from banking and loans and stuff. Now, with Mercury having retrograde there in December, now going forward, this says things that go on with your 7th house are generating more money for you. So I have a progressed Gemini sun, just as an example. Ad revenue was down in the month of December because views were down in the month of December. I'm like, no, my channel's going downhill, and everything was down in December. Decembers are slow because people are traveling, they're on holidays, and it's always a slower month. But of course, my typical response is to panic. But anyway, hopefully this means for people like us Geminis that whatever this was a financial slowdown as Mercury retrograded from the 8th to the 7th, and Jupiter was retrograde as well, connected to some of that. We're going to see some turnarounds here. Finally, you may have the experience of your significant other having more luck in their lives with Venus, Mercury, and Mars all up there, and some new direction or momentum going on for them that you can both celebrate in this first week of January. Now we're going on to the next sign. All right, Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising sign. We have the experience of Jupiter finally moving direct after being retrograde since September, but also compromised since May because of a connection to the North Node. As he moves through your 11th house of good spirit, this is the house of his joy, and he's unencumbered by any debilities, and he's spring-loaded in your 11th to bring you greater gains in your career, both by perks and reputations and promotions perhaps, but also money. Also, you can really experience a lot more enjoyment of a connection to an elder sibling or friends in general, or you may experience a growth in your influence over groups of people. This is also a good time for you to experience favors from friends who are wanting to benefit you. So asking for favors from friends would be a good idea this week ahead through to the third week of May as Jupiter blesses you in the 11th house. Now, with Mercury direct this week, I want you to think about what it is that you need to move forward on that has to do with where you need to get down with some kind of work situation, like the daily grind and the habits of your work, the livelihood, or your health. And because Mercury wants to do this in a kind of a new territory, an immigrant stepping into new land from the Sabian symbol, where are you able to find a new way of doing health, a new way of doing your work routines? For some of you, it could very literally look also like a situation about a pet and some changes in that situation as well in this week ahead. Because Mercury began to retrograde, it's a great time to get a new pet with Venus in the house of domestic animals right now, Mercury and Mars there as well. I'd say you'll be getting a great new animal in your life if you wanted one now. But also because you also saw the retrograde start in December around the 13th in your 7th house, some of this can involve the way your work reaches out to an audience or a marketplace. And now you're ready to make some significant changes and step into some new territory about how you reach out to those clients, customers, audience, marketplace. Also, some good news may be coming from your significant other around a work opportunity for them. And you may be excited for them and their work opportunity. It may not be nothing to do with you. Finally, Venus just wants you to basically find some enjoyment in your work and in your health routines. And this is a time over the next 3 weeks to find the inner joy and the enjoyment in the way you do things. Even beautify your home office or office space, even bring a plant to work. Those are possibilities. Leo, sun, moon, and rising sign. This is a Jupiter going direct in the 10th house of your career and reputation, springing into action. He's been debilitated a little bit, retrograde in the fall, and then before that, stuck with a north node. So now you're going to see the true goodness that Jupiter has for you, the true juice that he's capable of giving you as he's moving into your career house forward. And you're lucky, you're successful, you're prosperous, you're bounteous, and the bosses love you and the public loves you in your career and reputation space. Good for career advancement. And the beginning of that momentum is this week. At the same time, we see Mercury now going direct in the 5th house of entrepreneurship, creative projects, and children. Now, you may have had some difficulty here, some harder conversations maybe when Jupiter and Mars were conjunct here. On the fixed star Shala when Mercury is retrograding, and you may find now it's time to clear that conversation, to move forward from a difficult conversation with a child, and clear the air, or with a lover or romantic partner. Now, Mercury moving direct here is good for getting your entrepreneurial ideas finally off the ground. He was started as retrograde, or your creative projects. He started his retrograde here back in Capricorn, your house of work. So work and entrepreneurial things, children and work, debts and finances and children. These were themes that were going through your story in the last month. Things are about to move forward. And ultimately, Mercury on the 13th of December will be moving into Capricorn, and that's going to open 13th of January or so 14th will open up some real success in health and work areas for you. Be careful for pregnancy. Venus is here now since about the 30th of December. This is a very fertile time for you, Leos. Do not conceive a child unless you really want a child. Otherwise, this is great for love, romance, starting a new romance here. Could be a very successful long-term partner. And this week, the beginning of those openings are here. I like it. I would wait to start dating someone until after Mercury goes direct. Otherwise, you bake in some potential for miscommunications in a longer-term relationship. If you're already with somebody, it could just juice up the romance between you and a significant other in this week as she's going through this part of your sky with Mercury and Mars, making the cosmic lovers very happy in the house of romance. Alrighty, now Virgo, here's the deal. Mercury's your lord, right? Just as it is for Gemini, which I forgot to say. He's the planetary body that rules you. And he is going to go direct. That's almost the biggest story for you. Anytime Mercury goes direct, you pay attention. I want to point out that he's going direct in the place that's your house, your home, your property, your real estate, and things you're doing in and from the home. And because he's also going over a part of the sky where you experience some gritty difficulty, a Mars-Mercury conjunction happened a week before this video. And it may have felt like, ooh, just coming off of that, like you would have been feeling it last week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It could have felt like a really stingy time of really difficult conversations in the home or circumstances in the home that felt hard for you. But Mercury is now moving direct, and those things are clearing up. And with Venus there, this is a week to decorate your home, paint your home, improve your home, have fun and romance and social gatherings in your home, to enjoy your private time alone at home. As well, you might find yourself coming off of some kind of emotional hardship, because basically when you see something as intense as a Mars conjunct Mercury and in your fourth house, you may have felt like you're trying to deal with some issues to do with anger or frustration, or hopefully not rage in your home last week. I do want to tell you, with Jupiter moving direct in your ninth house, things are starting to flow when it comes to travel plans, foreign lands opportunities, book publishing opportunities, things to move forward in up there. Now, Jupiter is telling us as he goes forward here that he's been trying his best since last May to help you there, but things have been quagmired, as I said in the beginning of the video, explaining why. The quagmire is now coming to an end, and it's like a free pass to fly the friendly skies, or travel abroad, or get that legal situation and the judge and the court on your behalf all sidled up together to rule in your favor, that kind of stuff. Alrighty. And you may also want to publish a book or get an agent under this energy if you're a Virgo in that industry. A gentle reminder that because Mercury retrograded from your fifth house of children and romance and sexuality, some of you may have had a downturn of energy or difficult drawback energy to go back and clear up something with a child, or to some difficulty in an existing romantic love relationship that began around December the 13th. And now Mercury's going forward, and he will on December 14th of January come into your romantic house and try to take the new lessons learned, right? Because honestly, some of you are dealing with some almost going back to your childhood issues to resolve things to do with romance and relationship to children, your children. All right, I'm not going to remind you, but you are being tested by Saturn here for the next 2 years for any existing relationship to see if it qualifies to go the distance. Libra, sun, moon, and rising sign. The sky is opening up a doorway here for you that says Jupiter, bounty, chunky money, inheritances, legacy wealth, especially with Pluto down here. And if you had any kind of stalls on inheritance, bank loans, mortgages, money coming from other people that you could share, that stuff is finally going forward as of this week through to the third week of May. With Mercury, though, moving through here in your third house, having retrograded from your fourth house, you may have been traveling to visit family. You may have been traveling with your family of origin. You may have been traveling away from your neighborhood to some other neighborhood. And this kind of energy started about mid-December and is going to, close out when Mercury goes back into Capricorn around the 13th, 14th of December of January, this month coming. So how is it that when Mercury springs forward this week, right on January 2nd, might you find some kind of clear directionality around themes that have to do with travel and local neighborhood, or commuting, or skills-based learning, or your online world, or how you want to promote things or write things to do with your online world? Now, I would say, because Mercury will go into, direct motion here, it will be around middle of January that things to do with property, land, home, and real estate, or legacy wealth, or mortgages, and rent, even rental income with Saturn, where he is in your chart, become very clear, crisp, and clean. Okay. And then everything begins to gel, and you get the contract filed, you get the rental agreement set up, you got all things cleared up and cleaned up. With Venus in your third house, please take a trip, take a short distance getaway, go on a leisure trip, get some time away. This is such a good time. It started, at the end of December. It's got 3 weeks to go. You got travel opportunities, and you can feel this week maybe an opportunity to book a trip. Wait till Mercury goes direct, obviously, better bet. Mars likes to travel. So you got a lot of travel energy going on in your third house. And it's great to book, plan, or organize a trip in this week ahead. Also, to promote a book or share something on social media, or put your podcast out. A lot of Mad Men energy in your third house of social media. Also connecting to siblings, especially younger. All right, Scorpio. What we have is Jupiter going direct in your marriage house. So, hey, Have you been feeling a little bit quagmired in your significant long-term love relationship? Because even though Jupiter's been here since last May, he got entangled with the North Node and then he went retrograde. This is a really clean Jupiter now. No one's holding him back. Things can spring forward with your significant love partner. Also, in a good way, more bounty, more wealth together, but also maybe moving in, getting engaged, declaring monogamy, up-leveling the relationship, planning the wedding. Jupiter in this part of the sky can really open up a sort of expansiveness in how you reach out to an audience or marketplace and bring powerful new ground there. Like you're better at reaching the audience, the marketplace, the clients, the public than you normally are. You're luckier. We have Mercury direct this week. He starts on January 2nd after being retrograde since December 13th. Now, the direct motion is your second house of earnings. This is definitely obviously cleanly good for getting more money, getting a raise, getting a promotion, making more money. Basically, it's that simple. And with Venus with him, she's been there since around December 30th. This is also very good for asking for that raise or that promotion because your speech can be very grandiloquent and persuasive and charming, and you may get exactly what you ask for. Also, if you want to do anything to beautify your face, a cosmetic procedure, dental procedures, getting your teeth cleaned, even with Venus here, it's all good. Okay. She's going to make sure everything works out well. And you can also enjoy good foods, but with Mars there, eliminate the bad stuff. So you could have a nice dietary week ahead of more moderation and choosing foods that are good for you. We do have Mercury, though, on the Stinger Shala in a house of things you ingest. Just be careful you don't accidentally ingest something that is going to be a food poisoning narrative. Basically, that's what I want to say. Anything is possible. Also, there's this energy here of money and work because, when Mercury goes direct, he does flow to the North Node in the house of work. And so I think a lot of you Scorpios are looking at work and money opportunities, getting some new momentum this week. And as the Mercury flows forward, he will eventually go on the 14th or so of January into your third house. So that's going to open up some success in the online world, social media platforms, trips and travel, or just momentum and forward direction there. Because when he went retrograde, he was in your third house. Things to do with younger siblings and neighbors and neighborhood may have been involved in this retrograde since, back in December 13th. And I don't know, to connect the second house, have enough money to improve your home in the neighborhood. You now have enough money to do some social activities in the neighborhood. You now have enough money to do something in your online website situations and social media platforms. So money is improving. You're starting to feel that improvement, hopefully anyway, in this first week of January. All right. Sagittarius, sun, moon, and rising sign. I think that I would like to point you in the direction here of Jupiter's direct motion in your sixth house first, which is to say that although you were hoping to get great results in your work and health, and maybe even great results when it came to animals and pets and even elimination of debts or rental property situations, those things were all true, but not true since last May. I do think that because Jupiter got involved in a Rahu and North Node entanglement, followed by a retrograde, he hasn't been showing you his best stuff. Now he's going direct in your sixth house of work and health and pets and debts and tenancies and rentals, and it's all systems go. And therefore, a lot of Sagittarius will finally see they got the perfect pet coming after all. They can pay off that debt. They can acquire that rental property or rent their own property out, or they might even find just that their health improves finally. So Jupiter moving forward here, good for all of the above. And you start to feel that in the first week of January. Now, as well, you're going to notice this week that Mercury on January 2nd is moving direct at 22 degrees of Sagittarius. He's going very slow. He's just turning around, but you still feel the energy shift, right? And it's in the house of you. And you can be very useful now, like very successful in talking, speaking, creating new ideas that you're passionate about. Mars is there. And Venus is sort of bonifying the whole thing, going, and let's get something, because Mercury's very prone to embellishment and, confabulation and over extreming, exaggerating when he's in in Sag, but with Venus there kind of holding fort as well this week. I think she got there December 30th. Go watch that video. You're now able to speak in a very grandiloquent, passionate, and convincing way, or come up with ideas that are very exciting and motivational. But also, Venus says, and they're going to bring good things no matter what. They're going to be positive. So your ideas that you generate this week, the things that you say and speak into the world this week, are going to be very successful and lucky. At the very same time, you would note that when Mercury retrograded, he came out of your second house of speech into your first house, starting in mid-December, December 13th, and also the house of earnings. And so there's a strong feeling, or even foods that you eat and stuff. So changing your food style may have been a big part of what began to be a thought you had in December 13th or so, or changing your earning structures, or making some new decisions around how you wish to engage in what you communicate with the world in a certain way. And now with this direct motion, the house of earnings, speech, and also food that you ingest is going to be readdressed by Mercury around January the 14th. And you may find that you've been to put in motion the final food style, the elimination of bad substances from your diet. You begin to make money in this new idea plan that you have, and on we go. So it's good for your money in the long run, right? But we get this new momentum in the house of you this week ahead. And it is flowing Mercury to the North Node in the fifth house. And so you might be very passionate, enthused, and joyful and inspired by some of the new ideas that you're generating here. And yeah, moving forward from that. All right, Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising. If you're a Capricorn, this is going to be a story that looks like Jupiter moving this week ahead forward in your fifth house of romantic love. Also the fifth house of your entrepreneurship, your creative ideas and projects. Also the fifth house that has to do with things that you want to connect with, giving birth to something, a project, a creation, an artistic inspiration. Your children belong to the fifth house, and Jupiter makes you very fertile. This can be a pregnancy time. And Jupiter's been here since, don't forget, last May. And yet he was encumbered by the North Node, a little complicated. Then he got into a retrograde. So I do want to remind you, I said this in the beginning, I think Jupiter's doing his best ever right now. And this next 5 months, as he swoons through your fifth house, can bring you a fertility cycle of you or your partner deciding to or getting pregnant. Also of greater joy and enjoyment in life. Also of, greater entrepreneurial success, doing your own thing, being independently employed. Also greater success with creative projects and your own grown children as well. And so look forward to all of that. Now, we want to talk about Mercury because he is finally direct on January 2nd in your 12th house. And it's a subtle house, often to do with dreams at night, insights, meditations, and reveries. And often this part of your sky is very inward. So it's also where you're isolated and you isolate, or others are isolated. So you might have been feeling some kind of sense of really having to go inward as Mercury retrograded here. But interestingly, he started his retrograde on December 13th in your house of you, Cap, moving back into the 12th house. So you kind of pulled back from the expression of yourself in the outer world. You might have gone kind of quiet and you pulled back into the 12th house. And a lot of you Capricorns may have been reflecting more deeply, nostalgically about past lives, your own childhood, really reflecting more deeply on things to do with what your life is for, the meaning of it, and even your own spiritual path and whether liberation or enlightenment is possible. Now, as Mercury goes direct here, you're going to go pick up the threads about enlightenment, your childhood, what you want to do, the meaning of your life. But also here, Mercury going direct is very much about the possibility that you may come into some kind of commercial opportunity from a foreign place. So some kind of commercial communications, emails, phone calls to do with revenue you can make from another country. And I'm saying that because also Venus is up here, a money goddess. And so this can open up a corridor for you to indicate in the first week of January as he's moving direct. And he'll be going direct, with Venus there. So it's very lucky opportunities for revenue from international companies, foreigners and foreign lands and foreign shores emerging. As Mercury goes over into Capricorn, around the 13th of the month, then all that energy of the 12th house becomes very available to you, and you begin to make decisions and take, communicational directions to do with what you've been incubating in the 12th house. Finally, Venus in your 12th house can be good for bed pleasures and cozy time at home, but also, just basically having a lot more fun in bed. And that with Jupiter in your 5th house, that doubles down on that. If you have a partner already, yay you. So you'll have a little more sexual chutzpah and fun, and bed pleasures can come your way starting, Venus got there December 30th in your 12th house. So basically enhancing your sex life. Moving on. And anything you do in the privacy of your boudoir, so there you go. I'm one of you guys, Aquarius, sun, moon, and rising. I happen to be there as well. I'm a rising Aquarian. So let's go into the idea here that we have Jupiter in our 4th house angular. This has been something that could have brought us great luck and success to do with property, home, land, and real estate, buying, selling, and purchasing, teaching from home perhaps, or having bounteous wealth connected to legacy wealth, including inheritances. Now, this started last May, and many of us are going, what, WTF? I didn't get very much out of this. Well, maybe. I got a really great lease opportunity. I'm not complaining because it was such a deal by a sweet lady from Switzerland. So I feel very grateful for that. But I mean, the amount of success that we can have with Jupiter here is quite big. It could be quite a big wealth boost for us. And so we're not feeling that wealth boost really may have made us wonder, is this true? Go watch my Jupiter direct video, please. I talked about it in the beginning because this is something that will go into deeper dives about when this happened last and what it might mean this time. So now we've got Jupiter direct without the encumbrances of the North Node and the retrograde that are behind us. And between now and the 3rd week of May, we are coming into a period of time where you can expect Jupiter to show you all of his goodies from his Santa Claus goodie bag. But he does square your descendant. He does square you. So you have to actually work with him. It's not always going to be easy. He may give you golden opportunities about property, land, home, and real estate that you're not sure you want. And you're going to have to really suss out, is Jupiter right? Is this the thing for me? Because trust me, it will be. And on, the 3rd week of April, he's going to conjunct Uranus, and holy moly, that's a whole video that I've already put out. Please watch it. It's pinned to my channel. Talk about some exciting stuff to do with home, property, and real estate. Now, energetically here, as last thing I want to say about Jupiter is he could mean a guru or a teacher comes to visit you in your home. So if you have a spiritual teacher and then Jupiter's moving forward, finally the guru gets the password or the passport, or the teacher finally is able to visit you or something like that. Mercury is moving direct after being retrograde since about December 13th. And he's moving direct in your 11th house, but he started his retrograde in your 12th house. So let's bring a few themes together. Great gains from your career are going to go forward if they've been stalled out, especially if you generate money from payment processors like PayPal and Stripe, and you're internationally sourcing revenue without borders, which happens to be true for many business people today who work online. So that kind of stall out that you may have been feeling during the retrograde, that started December 13th, is no longer going to be stalled out, and you're going to go into direct motion the 1st week of January and see what happens. Probably things will go smooth, if not better than before. And second of all, Mercury in your 11th house is now accompanied as he goes direct by Venus, who entered here about December 30th. This brings an extra bounty or luck or bonification to whatever he's doing. She's a benefic in domicile in the top of the 11th house. Yes, it's ruled by Jupiter, but he's in inversion, so we won't go there. So I kind of think you're going to see some really sweet financial gains or reputation gains in your 11th house of your visible part of your career. And it can be opportunities to collaborate with others, do things with others, groups of belonging, go on podcasts or something like that, be invited to, step out and be more visible. I'm invited to some podcasts by this guy who's had some astrologers already on his podcast. And I think I'm doing the recording in the middle of January, but it will be connected to that Venus energy. So there you go. I think for you guys as well, social times with friends that you really enjoy, groups of belonging whose company you really enjoy. Anytime you put Mercury and Venus together, it's about enjoyment and sociability. And this is a house of friends and larger groups of belonging. So you're going to start to feel, oh my goodness, there's been a stall in my enjoyment of collective events with groups of friends and things that I love to do in the clubs of belonging. And that begins to move forward in the 1st week of January. for sure. Okay. There is a bit of energy of finding that new ground. Remember the Sabian symbol? What's this new territory that's fresh and new, like, as if I'm an immigrant moving to a new place. And that's going to feel perhaps like, there's going to be some new groups of belonging, some new social circles you're going to emerge into as a result of this direct motion Mercury. And as he goes on this 13th or 14th of January into your 12th house, that definitely can look like travel plans for foreign shores coming to gel, but it also can look like an increase in revenue from those foreign countries and foreign shores as well. And best and always best is definitely the Pisces sun, moon, and rising people. And here we have a story with the Lord of your sky. He belongs to you and Jupiter. He's a traditional ruler of Pisces, not Neptune. He's going to be moving forward in your third house of children, of siblings, cousins, neighbors, and neighborhood, short distance travel, online world, things to do with ideas, things to do with writing. Now, as it goes forward here, there can be some new travel opportunities for sure. And if travel has been something that has been a bit stalled for you because he was a compromise since last May with Rahu or the North Node, compromised in a retrograde or just not doing his best September through December 30th. Now he's in direct motion. So how will it feel? Maybe like finally that writing project takes off. Maybe finally your social media land gels. Maybe your website is, actively engaging people in the world. Maybe you're taking a class that you always wanted to take. Maybe you're teaching something. Those are third house meanings. As well, you might have better connections to a younger sibling and or cousins and or neighbors as a result, or even some new direction with the neighbors and neighborhood. Jupiter can bring you a bounteous new neighborhood. So some of you may move, especially if your floating IC in whole sign houses falls into the third house. But any of you could change neighborhoods in a significant way between this January and the end of May, because Jupiter will be in Taurus that long. Also, because Mercury is going direct in your 10th house, if you've been feeling your career, reputation, stuff, your visible actions in the world have been kind of complicated, that retrograde that started on December the 13th and is now ending, then no problem. Now things begin to move forward. Good news is coming here, because when he went retrograde on December 13th, he was in Capricorn around 8 degrees, and then he backed his tail into your 10th house. So big siblings, brothers and sisters, people who treat you like a younger sibling, who have favors for you, allies and benefactors, may have been involved in some kind of conversation with you or some kind of information exchange. And it went backwards, or backwards can mean like it seemed like nothing was happening as well. And now Mercury is going forward and something is going to happen. Those conversations can be outpictured as career opportunities, negotiations, promotions, and things to do with news to do with your career and work. With Venus up there, you're entering into a wonderful time where Venus says, and I bonify this, I make it all good. So raises, promotions, great success, more visibility in your career, some good news coming about career and work stories. And then Mercury around January 14th moves into your 11th house of good spirit. That's a wonderful place for you to experience greater gains in your career, but also signing contracts, signing deals and negotiations if you need that kind of thing in your career and workspace as we move into the second half of January. All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to hit the like button. Hopefully some of you can tune into Dan Waits this afternoon. I think you'll really enjoy him. He's an amazing World Astrology Report. Go check his channel out. I so in love that conversation with him. I think we talked for about an hour. I hope it's not long, maybe an hour and 15 minutes, but we talk about the big synodic cycles and how they may impact you and me and the world, especially the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. But we also talk about a Pluto-Neptune story. And this is the kind of astrology that turns me on. This is why I want to do my new podcast. I think I'm going to call it The World in Our Stars, because I own the domain, because I really want to talk about how astrology reflects the larger story that we experience in the world, not just about individual all signs. I know a lot of you don't like mundane astrology or world event astrology, but that's what I love. And if I don't do what I love, I won't do anything at all, right? I'd rather, go out and, I don't know, get a job at Starbucks. All right. Thanks, everyone. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. And my Patreon community gets everything early access ad free. If that appeals to you, they're getting this content that I'm giving you now on Saturday, December 30th. You don't get it till Monday. So if you want to get things ahead of the curve by up to a month early with no ads, and you want to join my Patreon for $5, there is a special promotion till the end of January. And you get 3 free courses with me just for trying me out. 2 that are replace, 1 you can take live. And if you don't like the Patreon community, you can leave with all the prizes. All right, ciao, everyone. Big, big hugs.